I've been raising the consciousness of the masses. But I can no longer ignore the dark side. A great shift in the consciousness of the masses is going on. Masses are waking up like never before. But the problem is that only a fraction is waking up to the light. Well, the majority is waking up to the prevailing darkness in this world, and I can no longer sit back and ignore the dark side as the perceived chaos ensues. As the saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. My channel is no longer an obscure little community and has grown significantly. Consequently, with its growth it is inviting all sorts of people with diverse mental concepts about this world we live in. And there are those souls here who have woken up to the dark side. I believe the year 2020 was a great turning point in the history of mankind, especially when it comes to the consciousness level of humanity. As we all felt caged and we didn't know what to do with ourselves. A significant chunk of the population started to question the reality of what happened in 2020, and we started to question the morals of our governments. Some of us realized that it was all a scam. There is a cabal of psychopaths in power in this world for as far back the recorded history goes. And the ones awakening to the darkness are confronted with this unsavory reality of the primarily satanic cabal. It is not that this cabal has just ascended into the ruling corridors. They have always been in power. But the veil is now being lifted as the consciousness of the masses is rising. The great unveiling is happening as we speak. And the masses are beginning to see all the corruption, enslavement, and evil that is present in the highest of places in this world. Be it religion, government, politics, military, wars, and deliberate economic collapses. Your entire worldview breaks into pieces when you realize that both world wars as presented to us were complete fabrications. Nonetheless, the point of this video is not fear-mongering, as the quote stated in the beginning of this video. That is, true living is not for the faint of heart. A heart with no love. Fear is the tool of the cabal to reign in the masses. While love is its antidote that far surpasses fear in potency. That is, thousands of individuals in fear can be put into peace and love frequency by only one individual vibrating on the frequency of divine love. Therefore fear not, the point of this video is to set you free. My channel has primarily focused on the personal journey of the individual in attaining his ideals by applying certain mental laws. That is still 100% true in your individual life. You can have anything you want by applying the law of assumption. The age-old adage will hold up till eternity in this world. That is, as man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But when it comes to the fate of the collective must march collectively towards an ideal to change the fate of the world. You might have heard the story of Neville Goddard being drafted in World War II. This story perfectly puts into perspective the difference between individual versus collective reality. Neville, being a spiritual individual, didn't want to have any part in this orchestrated and senseless war. Yet, him being spiritual and one might even say enlightened, Neville didn't try to stop the war. Nor did he attempt to manifest world peace. He simply imagined himself out of the war, into his own apartment with his beloved wife and daughter. Because Neville understood that when it comes to the collective knits its own reality. And the individual cannot manifest something for the collective if the collective is not ready for it. The consciousness of the masses is still not evolved enough to reject violence and wars. Because they have been indoctrinated into separation consciousness. And have no concept of what unity consciousness is, thanks to the religious doctrines being instilled in us since childhood. If patriotism runs deep in you and you think that killing the child of another is okay to save your own, you are under the mind control of the cabal. Specifically, the divide and rule mind control. This is why Neville Goddard didn't just imagine that everybody understands the law of assumption and every soul on earth is now benefiting from it. He gave lectures to the people because he knew that when the student is ready the teacher will arrive. He was being the teacher for those who were ready to hear what he had to say. Therefore, he spent his entire life teaching those who were ready to receive the gift that is the law of assumption. The teachings of Christ are mostly misunderstood by most people. But nonetheless, Christic teachings continue to enlighten those who are ready for it. If there was a historical saint who walked in flesh among us, he didn't or couldn't just use his wisdom to save everybody. The student has to be ready to receive in order for the teacher to bestow wisdom. None of the prominent spiritual personalities converted or saved everybody. Because that is not the point of this world. Every soul is on an individual journey. A journey of spiritual growth. Meaning, Christ or your Savior is within you. For others, you can be a guide. But since they have been given the freedom of choice same as you, they must choose to be saved. We are here to master our divine imagination. And our divine imagination is our savior. As Hermes Trismegisto said, man is given the gift of speech and mind which makes him equal to the immortals. Imagination is the divine gift of God. As Neville Goddard said, our own wonderful human imagination is God. Therefore, you should not waste away your life in trying to save everybody in this world. Because everybody is on their own journey. Save those who are willing to be saved. You must watch this video next, in which Neville explains in his own poetic way how to awaken the Christ within. This world is a stage play for immortal souls to experience what it is like to be a man. And we are promised to awaken one day to who we really are. Our divine self has not abandoned us in this world. And that day is promised to each soul that comes here. But since this world is a stage, it is full of drama. So do not get lost in the drama if you wish to live a life of abundance and eventually awaken the Christ within. The masses are the background of this drama, and therefore they will reject the idea of world peace. This is the reason why I focused my channel on raising the vibration of individuals. So that you would start doing better in your life, and then you can trickle this effect down to others. But due to the recent events in this world, it seems that the masses are waking up to the unpleasantness of this reality. Make no mistake, where there is light there is darkness. And where there is darkness, there is light. The Eastern philosophy of yin and yang is a great example to understand that darkness and light exist in tandem. This is the world of duality, designed by the spirit for the spirit to experience human form. And since God gave us the freedom of choice, we can choose evil, we can choose darkness. And there is a cabal who has chosen darkness to rule over the lost souls. The masses are now waking up to the corruption of their governments and totalitarianism. The non-human policies of the policy makers. And it is disturbing. But this is a good thing. Humanity is now being forced to shift into higher consciousness. This is why YouTube is getting flooded with videos about how we are shifting into a higher consciousness. But still, it's an individual's choice or calling to pursue their intuition. And you cannot come into love till you face your fears. Humanity is facing its dark fears. Therefore, trauma is often the reason causing a person to ask deeper questions. There is no growth in comfort. This is why the year 2020 was a trigger for the masses to start asking deeper questions. And now things are so open in the world that they no longer can be ignored. So what to do about all this that you are coming to know? Whatever you do, do not fear. If you are a vigilant person, you would have already noticed that the powers that be use fear as their number one tool to make you renounce your sovereignty. They prey upon us with fear programming. This is why the mainstream media is filled with nothing but fear programming. Fear separates you from your immortal divine self. This immortal divine self is what the powers that be fear the most. As they are also separated from their immortal divine self. To enslave other sovereign beings, you must sell your soul to the devil. That is, your soul gets corrupted the more you stay in darkness. Therefore, they are far too lost in the darkness to come back to light. And since misery loves company, is the reason why they want to corrupt the souls of others. By fear or by self-gratifying tactics. Also that you the immortal can forget who you are and fall right into their palms. So, fear not, as it has been repeated again and again in the Bible. As fear is the only thing that limits the spirit in this world of Maya. The best way to not fear anything here is to understand who you really are. The immortal survives death as death only rids this avatar. The bodysuit that the spirit is wearing. There is no death to the divine energy that you are. The individualized aspect of God. Having this unique experience. You call the shots in your personal reality. And if you align with this immortal self and use it to command what you want in this world, you will have it. You cannot be subdued, let alone by fear. So, fear not. And walk in this world with your light held high up. And you will illuminate the path for those who are seeking it.